All right, thanks for being with us. We want to start you out with some breaking news right now. A possible hazmat situation. We know emergency crews are on scene on Intel's campus.
KGW's Catherine Cook there right now. And Catherine, what have you been able to find out?
Well, Kathy, initially we did believe this was a hazardous material call out per Hillsborough Fire, but just a few moments ago, they said it is no longer a hazmat situation. They sent crews out here to the Intel campus after receiving calls around 4:15 this afternoon. 11 people complained of minor breathing problems, but it was serious enough that they transported all 11 employees to local hospitals. Also, they reached out to Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue's hazmat team, which initially responded, we are told, by Hillsborough Fire to see if there was a hazmat situation out here. But again, just a few minutes ago, they say they determined it was not a hazmat situation, and that investigation has been called off. However, guys, it is a bit of a mystery out here. We are not sure. In fact, we have no information at all at this point as to how these 11 employees managed to get sick. Again, they were complaining of minor breathing problems, and we were told that they were all working in the same area when they made those complaints. All 11 are being treated at local hospitals. No word on their condition, and we're still waiting to hear back from Intel officials tonight. Back to you.
All right, Catherine, appreciate it. 1 or 2 employees is one thing. 11, yeah, it doesn't sound like a coincidence. We know you'll stay on top of it for us. Appreciate that. And we are going to continue to track this story, as we say here. Stay with us on air, online, and on our mobile app. We'll keep you up to date on this one.
Right now, an Oregon woman says she needed a new van, but what she got was a year-long headache.
And despite paying cash for this van, she says the dealer won't give her the title. Our Chris Willis is here. And Chris, she can't get it registered, she can't get it licensed, and really there's no way to even prove that she owns this thing.
Kind of hard to believe, Ryan, because any reputable dealer will tell you when you buy a car, especially with cash, the title is part of that purchase. The dealer she bought it from, Hot Wheels LLC in Vancouver, claims that it mailed the title to her. But Mary Williams says she never got it, and that was almost a year ago. Since then, Mary's tried a lot of different methods to get a title to her van, but so far, no luck.
An Oregon woman in a wheelchair, picketing a Vancouver car lot, day after day. What in the world?
I don't have a title. I would not be able to keep them from towing it, even after I paid cash for it.
Mary Williams needed a van, nothing fancy, but it had to have room in the back
that would fit the wheelchair, me installing a wheelchair lift into it.
And she found one at Hot Wheels LLC on Highway 99 in Vancouver. This is her bill of sale after she paid for it in full, $5,895.
Cashier's check.
She spent another $3,000 putting a wheelchair lift in the back. That was almost a year ago, and believe it or not, Mary still does not have the title to her van. The day after she bought it, she sent Hot Wheels a text asking if she could pick it up. Hot Wheels' reply, "You can pick it up today, but I haven't run the personal check. So when you come to pick up the van, I will swap you cash for the check and give you the title." Didn't happen. 6 weeks later, she asks again in a text, and the dealer replies, "I think the title clerk mailed it. She'll be in on Monday." Again, that was nearly a year ago, and Mary uses a P.O. box. She says she doesn't get mail at her house.
They're required to give it to her. Yes.
Bobby Cockrum is a title registration and compliance expert. She says in Washington, dealers are required to give cash buyers the title or documents on how to transfer the title in what is called a reasonable time frame.
They are obligated to give you the ownership documents of it. There's not a time frame with some states, though.
But a year later and still no title, Cockrum says is not even close to reasonable.
A year's out of control.
It's not reasonable then.
No, not at all.
Frustrated, Mary took Hot Wheels LLC to small claims court, and she won. The maximum amount allowed in Clark County, $5,000 plus court costs. And guess what? Hot Wheels didn't pay that court's judgment and still hasn't given her the title.
I don't have it.
Never got it.
Never got it. And I've been told I will never get it. They're never paying that.
So we paid Hot Wheels a visit. They did not want to go on camera, but the finance manager told me they mailed the original title to Mary and don't know what happened to it. And he said they have a new title, but they're not giving it to Mary until she drops the small claims judgment. Hot Wheels lawyer John Terry sent us an email saying, quote, "It is my understanding that she believes she's entitled to the money, the title, and the car." He went on to say, "My client is willing to refund the transaction. My client is willing to assist her in getting the vehicle titled. My client is not willing to do both." Mary has filed a complaint with the Washington Department of Licensing, who sent me a statement saying, under Washington statute, it is a violation for a dealer to willfully fail to deliver the title to the out-of-state customer. And they said the Washington statute appears to apply in this situation.
All right, so why not just file for a lost title and get a new one? Well, that's difficult because Mary lives in Oregon and the van was purchased in Washington, different states with different laws. It was sold with Oregon license plates on it, so that might help. The Washington Department of Licensing is investigating. Mary has also filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office, but as of tonight, Hot Wheels LLC has not given Mary the title to the van she paid for in full.
Feel for her, man.
Is it possible, Chris, this is a salvage title or the dealer just doesn't have it?
That's a question we had too. I was told by a person at the dealership that they do have the title. They're just not giving it to her until she drops the small claims judgment. And we ran a Carfax report on Mary's van. It is not a salvage title. Hot Wheels likely bought the van at auction. It also appears they do have the title because this Carfax report shows a duplicate title was issued in July, and that is just less than 2 months after Mary won that judgment against them in small claims court. We'll continue to follow this one, though. In the meantime, experts say don't ever pay cash for a car without driving away with the title in hand.
Yeah, sorry she had to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you. A big step forward to bring baseball here to Portland. Today, the Portland Diamond Project released these renderings of a new stadium. It's also reached a deal to develop land along the waterfront in Northwest Portland.
Kyle Boshi live right now from the newsroom. Kyle, right now the Port of Portland currently owns that Terminal 2 property, right?
Indeed they do. Just to be clear, construction crews won't be breaking ground anytime soon. We're told the Portland Diamond Project signed an agreement in principle with the Port of Portland that could pave the way for a state-of-the-art ballpark.
This is our first look. Artist renderings of the proposed Major League Baseball stadium features a retractable roof using translucent materials, allowing natural light into the park. The stadium could seat up to 34,000 fans and has a gondola suite, along with plazas in center field and behind home plate.
I think it looks like utopian drawings.
It's stunning. I mean, it's it's better than anything we've got in Seattle. It's gorgeous.
I like it, and I hate change. And baseball is boring, but I like this.
The ballpark would sit in an industrial district north of the Fremont Bridge on the Port of Portland's Terminal 2, right along the Willamette River with views of Mount Hood.
It's not as central, but, getting baseball into Portland is better than driving all the way out to Hillsborough.
Yeah, but parking is going to be tough there, right?
I think I'll get a canoe and wait for a ball to come into the river. I'm ready for baseball.
It's still unclear how the Portland Diamond Project will cover the estimated $3 billion needed to build the ballpark and acquire a major league franchise. Organizers say there are other undisclosed investors involved in the project. The Portland Diamond Project is targeting 2022 for the first pitch, assuming all goes as planned.
And that, of course, requires landing a team, something that so far Major League Baseball hasn't publicly committed to. The group said it shared the stadium plans with Major League Baseball, and they, quote, love it. Back to you.
Yeah, the pictures are beautiful. You got to have a team to play in it, though. Appreciate it, Kyle. So a lot of questions. I know you at home have a ton of questions. Hopefully we have somebody here to answer them for us. So this is Maury Brown. Maury, you are a sports, business, and baseball writer at Forbes, so you know your stuff. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start first. You heard in the package there, they're thinking first pitch here by 2022. Feel optimistic to you?
Well, I think it's probably pretty aggressive. It might have to do with relocation if something happens with the Oakland A's or Tampa Bay Rays. They've certainly been focusing on expansion, and that would probably have to happen afterwards, so it seems a little aggressive.
The timeline there seems fast. Let's talk about how many times we've discussed a timeline. This city's been hungry for baseball for a while. Why does this feel different? Is it different? Is this the same song and dance, or is this does this mean baseball might actually be here?
Well, I was involved in the last effort, and I think the biggest difference is that they're centralized, they're very focused and very organized. And the fact that they've made this movement on the land, I think, is significant. They're working with some very good people, and they seem organized and well connected, not only here in Portland, but with Major League Baseball.
So you touched on the Oakland A's. You brought them up a second ago. Talk to us about what it actually takes. It takes more than a stadium because you have to work with the MLB on this. You need a team. Could it be an expansion team, or could it be a team like Tampa Bay or Oakland?
Well, the biggest problem with Oakland is they've been trying for 20 years to get a stadium, and they released some renderings yesterday. They don't control the land that they want to develop, and so that's continuing to be a problem with them. Certainly the Warriors moving over to San Francisco, the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, that's what puts more pressure on Oakland to try and get that job done.
When you see renderings like the ones we saw today, I mean, is that the stadium we should expect, or is that just kind of a, hey, let's look at this beautiful thing and get excited about it?
Well,
what did you think of the rendering?
I think that'll be different. You know, they're always going to change a little bit. There were some interesting pieces. The gondola, the moving suite seemed a little bit different, but I think a lot of it will be there. You know, it's awfully new and exciting. I think that they'll make some changes along the way.
So Portland wants baseball. We know that. There are other cities that also want baseball. Is there anybody competing for the potential, for the Oakland A's if they leave, or for an expansion team if the MLB wants to do that?
Not now. I don't think that there's really any, and that gives, I think, Portland a lot of leverage and a big advantage.
What's the biggest hurdle left?
Well, I think that they have to go ahead and finalize this deal with the port. They'll need to go ahead and look at zoning, do an environmental impact study, all of that effort. So a lot of nuts and bolts left.
You'll come back and see us if they make a move, right?
Yeah, sure will.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kathy, let's send it back to you.
Thank you. Let's take a live look right now at an ODOT camera. Probably don't need to remind you, Portland has some of the worst traffic in the entire country. Case in point, the commute here on I-5 heading tonight toward Vancouver. ODOT wants to relieve traffic by tolling this stretch of I-5 and another stretch on I-205. Today, ODOT laid out the plan it'll submit to the federal government. That's scheduled to happen before the end of the year. KGW's Devin Haskins is live in North Portland. And Devin, like it or not, these tolls are getting closer to becoming reality.
Yeah, they are. Just don't expect it to happen anytime soon. I mean, this is the government after all that we're talking about, and things take time. I mean, a lot of time, as in years. Traffic. We've all sat in it.
It's gotten much worse over the last 5 years, especially going north in the evening and coming south in the morning from Vancouver.
And we all hate it.
Yeah, right now, the way the traffic is, it's too congested and too much traffic. I think there's too many people in Portland.
ODOT says they're trying to fix it. House Bill 2017, passed last year, directs ODOT to look at ways to fix the congestion problems on Oregon's freeways. Thus, tolling. And if there's one thing drivers love more, it's a cost increase to their commute.
I'm against it. I came from a state where they just took tolls out, and to me, I think if they put tolls in, that's just going to add more congestion and more traffic problems.
ODOT says tolling would relieve congestion problems. They say it's worked in other states and should work here too.
For me personally, I could pay the toll tax. To me, it's a question about affordability across all the people who would need to use it.
That's one of the many concerns raised about tolls. The Oregon Transportation Commission, who's in charge of tolling, addressed that issue this morning.
We have a variety of ways in which we can actually vary the pricing that would be able to take that into consideration. And it is a priority for us to make sure that as we do this, we do it alongside the community.
The two sections of freeway under consideration, a 7-mile stretch from Alberta to Multnomah Boulevard on I-5 and a section of 205 near the Abernathy Bridge. But how much should it cost? I asked drivers to weigh in.
I would think that somewhere in the $4 to $6 range would make sense.
It's more than $2. I mean, cost of living is high enough as it is.
Now exactly how much? ODOT says they don't know, and they're not saying. They won't even give a ballpark because they don't want to give people the wrong number. They just have no idea how much it's going to cost.
I guess
just a couple years out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out, Devin. Appreciate it. Thanks for the report.